daily game plan for success. It's Sachs in the Morning. Steve Sachs.
Hi, Steve Sachs here with Sachs in the Morning, and today is Wednesday, the 4th of January. We're going to talk about a new beginning and the 12 tips on how to get something started new in your life, and there's no better time than the present. The first 8, that was Monday and Tuesday. We had 4 each day. So the first 8 were really preparing for that journey and how to get yourself started to get into it. And the last 4 today are going to be once you're in it, we're going to talk about what you should do then and some of the things that will help you out. So the first tip for today is about being flexible. This is really important, about being flexible. Look, you can have a process, you can have a plan, you can even write the thing down, but you can't be so rigid all the time because you never know where success is going to lead you. You think you're in control of it all the time? Sometimes you're not. So let me give you an example. Later on in my career, probably 10 years in, I had a bad start to a season. I mean, my God, I was hitting like 206 at the All-Star game. That's lousy. Oh, that's what guys hit today. But for when I played, that was a lousy batting average. And my agent came to me, who never played baseball in his life, and he said, "Hey, I kind of figured out what you're doing here." He said, "You're hitting the ball to the right side, as you should, because they're pitching you on the outside of the plate." He said, "But you got to change up what you're doing. You got to start pulling the ball, get a lighter bat, get on top of the plate, challenge the ball inside, pull the ball. Maybe you'll get more hits and your team will win more games and I'll have a better opportunity to get you a better contract next year." And I thought, is my agent smoking hashish or what? What is he doing? Because you don't just change the way you hit. Or so I thought. So I thought, it's not working what I'm doing, because he was telling me, you're lining the ball to the right side. You're hitting the ball well. So you're doing the plan correctly. It's just that the defense is onto it and they're catching the ball. So you got to make a shift. You got to change. The approach has to be a little different. And I just thought, wow. So I tried it. I started pulling the ball, got a lighter bat like he suggested, this man that never had a bat in his hand in his life. But I took the advice, and I wound up having one of the best years of my life. So remember that. The rigidity that you may have in your outlook may have to change. All right? So be flexible. Also, remember that failure is part of the sequence to becoming successful, to bounce off that wall of failure. Don't be afraid to go into it and experiment. And, just because it doesn't work out the first time doesn't make you a failure. It's part of the process. All right. Here's an expert example. Yeah, I want to be an expert at something. Well, guess what? You can be an expert at something if you got 10,000 hours. That's usually what it takes. So if you break that down to 40 hours a week and you multiply that by about 50 weeks, there's 52 weeks in a year. So just say 50, that's 2,000 hours. You got to times that by 5 years. 2,000 hours a year times 5 years is your 10,000 hours. So that's going to take you 5 years to become an expert at something. You think there's going to be some times where there's some pullback there? Yeah, that's going to happen. Also, build things that you're good at into your routine. That creates confidence. All right. I can remember lots of times when I was playing baseball, people would practice on some things that they were really good at and, kind of even getting showy at it. In spring training, you could see some guys making these plays and flipping the ball behind their back and kind of having fun with it because they were growing confidence, and it was all a lot of fun in doing that. So stick on to some of those things that you're really, really good at and implement them into your routine. And one way to combat getting stuck is to going back to that old talent, right? Being something that's you're familiar with. Can you play a guitar? And can you hit a long drive in golf? Or maybe you're great at baking. You can bake a great pie. Taking time to continue with things we are good at can boost that confidence as you grind away at the new endeavor, because there is going to be some of that monotony in there as well, because it's a long time. 5 years is not just a turn of the page. It's a major commitment. And lastly, remember this. Celebrate the milestones, would you please? Hey, take a vacation and compliment yourself on your success. And that's an important thing, because that's a reaffirmation that what you're doing is correct, because there's plenty of times where you're going to have question marks. So if you can go about and celebrate certain milestones and set those things into place into your template, saying, hey, once I get past this 25% mark of some of the things I want to do, we're going to have a little bit of a celebration. Okay, because you're not going to do it all in one day. Then you go to the next one. Hey, 25% again. Now I'm at the 50% mark. I'm halfway to the mark I want to be. We're going to have a celebration. We're not to the end yet, but man, we're getting there. We're a lot better than where we were 2 weeks ago. And once you start that and that trail becomes a little bit easier to traverse, man, you're doing something special. You're on your way to doing it. So what I would encourage you to do is to go back and listen to Monday and Tuesdays and Wednesdays today's. I mean, they're only 3 or 4 minutes each. And, write these things down, because this could be a good thing for you going forward for the rest of the year to be part of your template to get a shot of inspiration in the morning. Hey, if you're doing a new project or you're, starting a new venture, whatever, hit me up on Instagram. I want to know what you're doing. So hit me up on Instagram and let me know, and we'll talk about it on the air here as well. All right. And that's my short for today. If you like what you heard, give us a positive review, subscribe, and share. Also, remember that the Sax in the Morning swag is now available on my Instagram site. Go to saxinthemorning_podcast. You'll see it right there on the Instagram, and just hit the link. Everything's there: mugs, hats, tumblers, you name it. Take advantage of it.